Mark chapter 5. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, unto the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Se eu desmaiar aqui, fica uns 30 segundos sem. Onde eu tava? Se eu apagar aqui é porque eu tô com muito sono. With an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with shares, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he always in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice, and said, What have I to do with them? Jesus, the Son of the Most High God, I adjure then by God that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh on the mountains a great ebb of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, Send us unto the swine, that we may enter unto them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herb ran violently down its leaped eyes step place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were shocked in the sea. And they that feed the swine fled, and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to the sea what it was that was done. And they come to Jesus, and seeing him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion, sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Jesus suffered him not, but said unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord had done for thee, and had compassion on thee. And he departed, and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him. And all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there came one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray then, come and lay the hands her on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of the blood 12 years, he had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better but hatter grey worse. When she had heard of Jesus, come in the press behind, and touch his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Jesus immediately, I know in himself that Verton had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, Thou seest and multitude thronging them, and sayest thou, Who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman feared and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came in and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, the faith had made them roll, go in peace, and be whole. É whole? Não, whole é santo, né? Como é que fala isso? Holy. Não sei falar isso. Of the plague. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, The daughter is dead. Why troublest thou the master? And the footer? É furrer? Não sei falar isso, é uma pergunta. Was Jesus here, the word that was spoken? He said unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, unbelieving. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept, and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he said unto them, Why make ye this ado weeping? The damsel is not dead, but sleeping. And they allowed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, they taken the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, entered in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto him, Talita cumi. Talita cumi, não sei falar isso. Deve ser igual, né? Enfim, aramaico. Which is being interpreted, damsel I say unto that arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he changed them straightly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. Ok, boa noite.